So guys, Nnamdi Kanu should not be coming to this court case from the DSS dungeon. In the first place, he should not even be coming from the DSS dungeon. Since the resolution of court case, he has been coming from DSS dungeon and is not supposed to be so. There is no single place in the constitution that supports his incarceration in the DSS dungeon. The constitution is simple. Justice must be fair, transparent and open. Anyway guys, let's keep this running. Just stay with me to the end of this video.
I was going through legal files, the Nigerian constitution and framework surrounding Nnamdi Kanu's past case, and I discovered something shocking. The DSS actually has no right to keep a suspect for more than 180 days in total. That is the maximum allowed under Nigerian law. The first 90 days must be by court order, and if they cannot gather evidence, they can request another 90 days from the court. That is 180 days in total. And 180 days is more than sufficient for the DSS to file a proper case against anyone. If they cannot file a case within this period, then the suspect must be released. Any detention beyond that is illegal, unconstitutional, and an abuse of power. The DSS only holds suspects. A suspect is someone who has not yet been charged. The moment the person is dragged to court, pleads guilty or not guilty, they immediately become a defendant. Once that happens, the DSS no longer has authority. At this stage, under the Nigerian constitution, it is only the Nigerian Correlation Service, the official prisons, that have the right to hold a defendant. Nnamdi Kanu is now under the judiciary. Keeping him in DSS custody after being charged is a direct violation of the law. Remember how the case was handled under Justice Binta Nyako? The court failed to test constitutional breach and the matter was transferred to Justice Omotosho. The very first thing that should have been done there was to challenge the illegalities again, but silence reigned. Lawyers did not test the law, and that's the problem. Everybody is just allowing it. Now, before the Maradona game starts in court, lawyers must test these issues. Don't just sit there playing one game after another while illegality unfolds in front of you. If you don't challenge it, you are complicit. After 180 days in DSS dungeon, Nnamdi Kanu should no longer have been there. The trial resumption in March must first address this. He must be removed from DSS custody and placed where the law requires. Only after that can the courts proceed properly. This is not just about one man, it's about the constitution, about justice, and about ensuring that illegality does not continue unchecked. The law is clear and it is being ignored. Every day he remains in the DSS dungeon. It is unconstitutional, it is illegal, and it must stop. It must stop. Nnamdi Kanu should not be coming to his court case from the DSS dungeon. The people should have handling Nnamdi Kanu's case right now should be the Correlation Prison. Nnamdi Kanu has stayed in detention in the DSS dungeon for more than 180 days. This is an act of violation of human rights. Prolonged DSS detention violates Section 35 of the Nigerian Constitution, which grants the right to personal liberty and protection from unlawful detention. Due process are being ignored. The Nigerian legal framework, Administration of Criminal Justice Act, requires that suspects be charged promptly. Delaying for years is a complete breach of due process. Unlawful DSS authority. DSS custody is only for temporary investigation, not for holding defendants after charges have been filed. Judiciary responsibility. Once a case reaches court, it becomes the judiciary's duty to ensure lawful detention, proper trial, and access to bail. Breach of international law. Nigeria is a signatory to international human rights conventions, which prohibits arbitrary detention. Now, that is this. Look at the way the DSS has exceeded 180 days and how the law provides no extension beyond that for ongoing detention without charges. The DSS is allowed only 180 days, which is 90 plus 90, which gives us 180 days. If the court permits to detain a suspect, holding Nnamdi Kanu beyond this period is illegal and unconstitutional. Now, suspects not yet charged can be held temporarily by DSS. An accused charged but trial not started, judiciary now oversees what? Custody. Now, defendant officially in court must be in Nigeria Correlation Service custody and not DSS. That is just the difference between the three. A suspect that is not yet charged can be held temporarily by DSS, which is fine and cool. Now, an accused that is charged but trial not started, judiciary now oversees in custody. But for a defendant officially in court, must be in Nigeria Correlation Service custody and not in DSS. So this is a violation of what? Human rights. Now, violation of Section 35 Nigerian Constitution protects personal liberty and freedom from arbitrary detention and guarantees that a suspect must be charged promptly. Administration of Criminal Justice Act breach. It says law requires that suspect be charged or released within a set period. DSS detention exceeding 180 days directly contravenes this. Human international rights law. Arbitrary detention is prohibited under conventions Nigeria has ratified. Example, the ICCPR. Keeping Kanu in DSS custody violates both national and international law. Now, I'll be giving you guys court and judicial failures. Justice Bintanyako mismanagement, failure to test constitutional breaches in the first court led to the case being transferred. Justice Omotosho's oversight, the new court should have addressed DSS overreach immediately. Failure to do so, perpetuates illegality. Legal practitioner silence. Lawyers have not challenged repeated violations, allowing unconstitutional detention to continue. Now, call to action for lawyers. Courts and lawyers must actively test and enforce rights. Failure to do so undermines the rule of law. I'm telling you guys the DSS overreach and political implication. DSS vs Judiciary Authority. Once a case is in court, DSS no longer has legal custody rights. Defendants belong in correctional facilities. Now, political interference. Prolonged detention suggests the use of DSS as a political tool rather than a law enforcement agency. Illegality in plain sight. Everyone sees the breach of law happening, yet nobody acts. The system is being normalized to tolerate illegal detention. Now, I'll be telling you guys the procedural and timeline insight. The timeline emphasis: initial 90-day detention by court order, possible additional 90 days if court approves. Nnamdi Kanu has been held for over 2 years, far exceeding the legal maximum. What am I even saying 2 years? He has been held for like 6 years, far exceeding the legal maximum. What should really happen next? They need an immediate removal of Nnamdi Kanu from DSS custody and transfer him to Nigerian Correlation Service if remand is required. Proper court procedures to resume trial lawfully. If this can happen to Nnamdi Kanu, what does it say about every Nigerian's right to liberty? Who will be held next without cause? Seriously, this is the question I'm asking you guys. If this can happen to Nnamdi Kanu, what does it say about every Nigerian's right to liberty? Who knows who is going to happen next? So we need to speak up now, especially the lawyers. The lawyers need to speak up and talk about this, that this man's rights has been violated. He has been in DSS custody and it has exceeded the 180 days that he's supposed to be in DSS custody. This man should be, as a defendant, he should be in the Nigerian Prison Correlation Service and not in DSS custody. I'll tell you guys the DSS limitations and legal missteps. DSS is only an investigative agency, not a detention center for defendants. After 180 days, DSS is required to either file charges or release the suspect. Failure to do that is illegal. Now, prolonged detention without trial undermines public trust in law enforcement and the justice system. DSS custody is meant to be temporal and transparent. Holding someone in secrecy violates accountability principle. Now, I'll tell you guys judiciary and legal system critique. Courts must enforce constitutional rights. Failure to act emboldens executive overreach. Legal precedents ignored. Other high-profile suspects have been released after exceeding DSS limits. Double standards highlight systematic bias. Lawyers inactively signals institutional weakness and fear of political backlash. Courts should actively challenge DSS illegalities before trial continues. This is a procedural safeguard. This is a procedure safeguard the system is failing to enforce. Now, Kanu's prolonged detention may indicate political targeting, not judicial necessity. Public silence contributes to normalization of unlawful detention as a tool for intimidation. This sets a dangerous precedent for all Nigerians, especially activists and dissenting voices. This case is internationally visible, impacting Nigeria's reputation regarding rule of law and human rights. Now, procedural violations and case management. Suspects and accused and defendants. DSS must hand over custody once a suspect becomes what, a defendant. So right now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a defendant. So the DSS must hand over custody to the Nigerian Correlation Prison. Case management under Justice Binta Nyako shows how the judiciary can allow DSS overreach. Ignoring procedural rules means the trial itself risks being declared null and void if legally was challenged. Holding someone beyond 180 days without filing charges violates Article 9 of the ICCPR, which is the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Arbitrary detention damages individual dignity, mental health and public perception of justice. Nigeria risks international condemnation if lawful procedures continue to be ignored. Now, this is what I have to say. I urge all lawyers and human rights groups to challenge every DSS overreach in court. Don't just keep quiet. We need media attention to pressure the government. Constitutional rights are universal and must be defended consistently. We need to hold the judiciary and executive accountable for anything. They should hold them accountable anytime they are wrong. Call them out and say, you guys are wrong. The DSS are wrong at this case. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should not still be in DSS custody. He should not even be coming to his court case from the DSS custody. He's now a defendant. His case should be handled over to the Nigerian Correlation Prison. Anyway, guys, that's all we have for today. Let me know your thoughts below. And also, if you know you're new to this channel, please don't forget to click the subscribe button, like and share. And also, don't forget that we use this platform to agitate for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So please do wait step in the comment section, free Nnamdi Kanu. So guys, thanks for watching.